Your mindset is the root of your reality. If you can change your mindset, then you can change your life. Welcome, Master Your Vibe. Mind bright, vibe right. The mindset reboot for those ready for some calibration to their vibration. I'm your host, King Yes Indeed, your guide for this vibrational journey, here to help you conquer any mental blocks, fine-tune your inner frequency, and navigate to your higher self. If you're ready to make your mind bright so you can vibe right, then you're in the right place. Let the journey begin. Yes, indeed. Welcome back once again to Master Your Mindset, the 7 dimensions of mindset. And today, people, we got a good one for you. We're going to have a special guest on this show today. And today, we are going to be talking about pain and purpose and how they just might need each other. Pain can be one of the most misunderstood experiences that we have as people, as human beings, right? We endure physical pain, emotional pain, mental, and even some spiritual pain. And we spend so much of our lives trying to avoid this pain. We try to numb it. We try to escape it. Or worse, we try to pretend that it doesn't even exist. But what if we thought of pain as an ingredient instead of a main course dish, right? Ingredients, when standing alone, they can taste bitter, they can taste terrible. And in some cases, they're not edible, you can't even digest them. But when we mix these things and blend these things and we heat them to a certain temperature, all these things together can create a world-class dish, right? Ingredients are the direction for each recipe. And so what if pain was actually an ingredient? What if it was a pathway, or better yet, a doorway to your purpose? All right, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. And today's episode is called Pain versus Purpose, and how they just might need each other, because some of the most meaningful lives are not the ones that are easy, right? They're the ones, from people who have had bumps in the road. They've had life-changing challenges. They had questionable circumstances, and they most certainly have had moments of dealing with or facing with their own mortality. Right? Some of the deepest and some of the most important callings are not discovered through an easy or a delicate life. Right? They are uncovered in struggle. They are found out in near-death experiences. They are discovered in personal disaster or utter despair sometimes. Right? So today we're going to explore a difficult but hopefully a transformative topic. And in most cases, pain hasn't come to take you away. It's simply come to take you to a higher place, right? It comes to take you to an elevation where not everyone is meant to go. Right? The destination is your life, and the goal is your purpose. All right, I'm going to say that one more time. The destination is your life. The goal is your purpose. Yes, indeed. And we're going to go ahead and jump right in. All right, pain versus purpose. And this is part 1. Pain, pain can feel like your enemy, or perspective can make it your ally. And what do I mean by that? Like, pain can feel like a disturbance in your life. It can feel like your life is going haywire. It can feel like it's going wrong. It can seem unfairly balanced in someone else's favor. It can feel like your worst nightmare playing out in real life. But pain can also be a signal. It can be signaling that something is wrong. It can be signaling that something needs your attention. It can be signaling that you need some healing. It can be signaling that you need some change. All right. Pain can be your own personal traffic light. Right. It can be giving you inside information on when to go. It can be giving you information on when to slow down. And it can be giving you information on when to come to a complete stop. All right. Now, if you think about out there when you're driving, what are some other signs that you might see? It might be telling you hey, there's construction going on. You need to be careful. It can tell you when a bridge is out. All right. It can tell you when the road is out up ahead. It can tell you when the road is flooded and you can't pass. It can tell you when rocks are in danger of falling on you. And ignoring this signal from the pain that you are feeling is like ignoring any one of these traffic signs. Right? If you don't heed these warnings or these warning signs, danger is almost imminent. All right. And that's not the problem. It's not the problem that it exists. Right. The problem isn't that pain exists. The problem is that we never ask why or what it's trying to teach us. All right. Pain is not always a curse. Sometimes it is simply a compass giving us direction to go or move in a certain manner at a certain time, at a certain speed, with a certain degree of surety or with certain people. All right. Pain is not always a curse. Sometimes it is simply a directional compass. Purpose is often developed outside of your comfort zone. All right. Purpose is not usually found, again, as I said earlier, in the comforts of life, in an easy life. Purpose is often forged. It is similar to the process of how swords are made. All right. And we're going to touch on that. And at the end of this show, purpose can be forged in disappointment. Right? If you've been disappointed, if you've been let down, if you've been let go, if you've been left hanging, you can find your purpose in that. Your purpose can be found in heartbreak and loss, right? That relationship that almost destroyed you, devastated you, right? The loved one you lost. And maybe you felt you didn't get enough time with them. Maybe they were taken too soon. Maybe they were taken unexpectedly, right? The family member who was taken unnecessarily, you might feel like. Right? Purpose can be forged in struggle, right? You could be struggling with addiction. You can be struggling with finances. You can be struggling with mental health. You can be struggling with being able to have housing. You could be struggling in physical or domestic abuse. All of these things can drive you or push you or help you to see or discover what your true purpose is. Failure, right? Failing out of school, high school or college dropout, failing at business, right? Those things can help push you to your purpose. Survival, right? Being a victim of a certain crime or maybe a tragic accident. I'm a combat veteran, so surviving combat can sometimes help you discover your purpose. Near-death experiences, we talked about that earlier. Maybe you almost drowned, or maybe you were stranded somewhere without help. Maybe you were robbed at gunpoint. Like, all of these things can help you find and push you to your purpose. Now, why is this? Pain introduces you to levels and areas of yourself that you would otherwise never visit, or that you would otherwise never venture into. All right. What it does is it erodes the top layer or two, the superficial layers, the superficial parts of who you are. And it displays the true nature. It displays the essential parts of you. All right. Your comfort is asking the question, what feels good? Or your pain is asking what's necessary, what's meaningful for you. All right. Comfort is like, I just want to feel good. I just want to be okay. I just want to be warm. I don't want no trouble. That's comfort. Pain is like, what is important? What matters? What drives you? The thing that you find meaningful in your pain as you are enduring it, that can equate and typically equates to your purpose. Right? Your purpose is built from what you thought tried to break you. All right. Your purpose is built from the very thing that you believed was meant to tear you down or break you apart or allow you to never succeed or allow you to never go forward. That is typically where your purpose is rooted. All right. Pain creates sensitivity, and sensitivity can create and define what your mission is or what your purpose is. All right. One of the strange gifts of pain is that it makes you aware, hyper aware of certain things. All right. People who have suffered and suffered a lot often become people who truly understand what other people are going through. They have that empathy and they have that compassion and they have that understanding and they have the ability to feel when someone else is struggling, especially if it's something either similar to or the same exact thing as they dealt with. All right. People who have suffered tend to speak more truthfully about things, right? Because it has eroded that superficial or layer or two away. And so now, because they've been through this and because they've suffered and because they've dealt with so much, they're going to be very honest about what they've been through, but they're also going to be very honest about the trials and how hard things are going to be, and the fact that it's not easy, and the fact that what you don't believe could happen may actually happen if you continue doing what you're doing, if you continue remaining in the same situation. People are going to be very, very honest with you. People who suffered tend to create a space that promotes your healing. You know, they tend to allow for you to vent. They tend to allow you to come and cry on their shoulder. They tend to just show a level of compassion that's real, and you can feel their energy just by how they act. And you may not say anything to them. It just might be the fact that they showed up, and that's the space that you needed at that time, in that environment, in that moment, and with that person, that allows and promotes a space for healing. And then finally, people who have suffered, they are typically the ones who promote and create the change that we have. If you think about all of the nonprofits that we have in somebody's name, all the scholarships that we have, all of some of the programs that have been created, and I'm talking about universally for an entire civilization of people, or just for a certain type of culture. It is because people, you can just look at the civil rights movement alone. I won't go any further than that. But if you just look at that, there are many things that have been created for change simply because of the suffering that people have had to endure, during the civil rights movement alone. Right? There's many more, but I'm just talking about that period. All right. Your pain, people's suffering sharpens their perception of things. All right. They tend to look at it quite differently because they've had to endure and because they have walked through some things. Right. And again, it makes you hyper aware of what others may often tend to ignore, or what others just can't see because they haven't endured certain things. All right. Your wounds and your scars, they can translate to your wisdom. Right. And your struggle now becomes the bridge to what can lead you to your service, right? So all the stuff that you've dealt with, all the stuff that you've been through, um, all the ups, all the downs, all the negative aspects of your life, everything that you've had to endure, that can translate to wisdom and knowledge and understanding about how to navigate the life that you now have. And what that can do is it can take you in a direction, and it can be a bridge to lead you directly to what your calling is, directly to the area that you are supposed to be serving in. Right? Many times your purpose is only revealed in something that you had to survive. Sometimes that's the only way it's going to come, is when you've been surviving, right? You know, shelters for women, battered women, exist because somebody had to survive that, and they created a space for other women that are going through the same thing, and that's valuable. The same for men, right? Sexual abuse shelters, the same thing, right? Homeless shelters, the same thing. Hospitals for children with certain illnesses, the same thing. People have had to endure these things, and so now they have created something simply because they had to survive it. All right, and so after all of that, typically what I will do is I will give you some practical exercises or ways in which, you know, we can turn pain into purpose. But today I have a special surprise and a special guest, my first guest on the Master Your Mindset, the 7 Dimensions of Mindset show. And it is none other than my amazing, talented, lovely, wonderful wife, Miss Randicia Fletcher. And what she's going to do for you all today is she's going to share her own personal life story about the pain and trauma and some of the things that she experienced, and how she was able to turn some of those things and translate those things into her purpose. So, honey, it's all yours.
I grew up with addiction all around me. 2 generations of addiction. Addiction to drugs and substances. Addiction to men. Addiction to women. Addiction to crime. No one was addicted to normal. Actually, folks' addictions were normal. And when the adults around me are addicted, or when the adults around children are addicted, children, both boys and girls, are susceptible to the elements of life. I watched all of this in full screen. I watched it. I smelled it. I felt it. I lived it. I was socialized by this system, and it shaped me into the person that I am today. And when I went into the Marine Corps, I endured even more abuses, sexual abuse and racial abuse. I thought that once I left my home environment, I'd be better off. I was wrong. So small problems may be exacerbated by the full screen of events from which I watched, I smelled, and I felt, and I lived. So any little thing can shake me, where I have to really have a focal point to move past what's going on around me. I see a pain therapist and sometimes a traditional psychologist. It's difficult to go into those places because I feel like I have to start all over again and open up the wounds and get up out of the chair and still manage to drive myself home. At a young age, around 5th grade, I started creating art to escape the realities of life. It was a grounding. I receive encouragement to write and to paint, but sometimes I get stuck. And this is the cycle that I often endure. And then I feel anxious and depressed, like I can't move forward. Sometimes even with my gardening, I'll find myself just sitting watching the vegetables grow, and I can't even get up to move to to pick them. So I write and I paint. And in each facet, it's another season for me. I consider myself seasonal. So when I feel like doing something, then I do it. And I try to put myself into a place where I don't get overwhelmed. So balancing life is very important. Not taking on too many responsibilities is very important. Many people who know me may believe that, oh, you're doing too much. Oh, she's doing too much. I typically know my limit. And if I'm working in an art space, the limit changes from if I'm just helping someone with some economical purpose. I don't want to say that my artwork distracts me, but it allows me to venture into a psychosis that is normalized by only the title of being an artist. Yes, I am an artist. And that is my big secret.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you, honey. I appreciate it. And not only is she an artist, she's also an art curator. She's also a master teacher, and she is also an author. Two of her books you can purchase on Amazon. Her newest book, The Versions of Her, a graphic look at undiagnosed mental health challenges, is on sale at Amazon. The link will be in the show description. And also, she has another book called Scratches, Needles, and the Glass Pipe. That was her first book. Also can be purchased on Amazon. And then finally, she has a social mindfulness book. It has child stories 1 through 3, and you can use those for your social mindful exercises. So if you are interested, the link for all 3 books will be in the show description. So go ahead and check it out and support and get some additional healing. So once again, my wonderful, amazing, and talented wife, Miss Randecia Fletcher. Thank you, honey. I love you. Just like always, Kings, as we move forward, I'm going to share some reflection prompts and some affirmations with you today. So let's go ahead and jump on in. Reflection prompt number 1. What lesson did I learn too late but can now apply my purpose? Which one did you learn too late? Did you learn about finances too late? Did you learn about women too late? Did you learn how to deal with your emotions too late? Which one did you learn too late? Was it did you learn how to keep your mouth shut too late? Which one was it? You are now. Which lesson did I learn too late, but now I can apply it to my purpose? Did you learn that talking in class wasn't the right time, but now you can talk for money? Which one was it? Which one was it? What lesson did I learn too late, but can now apply to my purpose? Reflection prompt number 2. What parts of my story could become a source of healing for others? I usually tell people that their story is not for them, and what they've been through is for somebody else. And this plays right into that, right? Your story can be a stepping stone. It can be a healing block. It can be a place of comfort. It can be a motivational moment. It can be the change in someone's life that they need at the right moment to go in a different direction. What parts of my story could become a source of healing for others? And if you find that could be your purpose, you could be a therapist, you could be a doctor, you could be a motivational speaker, you could be a podcaster, you could find a space where you are able to tell your story or get your story out there, and it can be a source of healing for others. What parts of my story could become a source of healing for others and yourself. It can also be a source of healing for you. Reflection prompt number 3. What does my future self need? What does my future self need me to do with my pain today? And that's going to be critical to your future, because what you do today is going to determine what your future self is and how you handle things. How do you handle loss? How do you handle grief? How do you handle anger? How do you handle despair? How do you handle frustration? How do you handle being criticized? All the things that we talked about earlier. What does my future self need me to do with my pain today? Any pain that you are dealing with. What do you need to do to make your future better? Do you need to let it go? Do you need to confront it? Do you need to talk about it? Do you need to acknowledge it? Do you need to share it with others? What is it that you need to do with that pain so that your future self can benefit? Yes, indeed. All right, Kings, let's go ahead and jump into some affirmations. Affirmation number 1, my pain is real, but it is not the end of my story. No, it is not. And it's important to acknowledge it. Again, I said on the last episode, we're not Superman. We're not, we feel pain. We're not immortal. The pain that we feel, we must acknowledge that it is there, but it does not have to be the end for us. My pain is real, but it is not the end of my story. Once again, my pain is real. Yes, it is. But it is not the end of my story. No, it is not. Affirmation number 2, I am aware I am more than what happened to me. It's like almost saying it's not my fault, right? It's not your fault. Right? You are more than being homeless. You are more than being abused. You are more than being raped. You are more than being broke. You are more than being poor. You are more than failing out of school. You are more than being discriminated against. You are more than what happened to you. I am more than what happened to me. Yes, you are. Much more. And that's part of the reason why we got to find our purposes, so we can figure out how much more. Right? I am more than what happened to me. And affirmation number 3, I have survived what I once thought would break me. We all have different rock bottoms. What I think is a tragedy, some people might not blink twice about. What I think is no big deal, some people might not be able to endure. But that's why the burden that we carry is why we carry it individually. Right? We are able to endure. I have survived what I once thought would break me. And understand, because you are not broken. Because you are not broken. You can get back up. You can go forward. You can climb the ladder. You can stand up. You can sit up. You can run. You can jump. You can believe. You can take a deep breath. You can do all of these things because you are not broken. I have survived what I once thought would break me. And now you have confidence that whatever you just survived is not going to break you. Yes, indeed. Kings, thank you for dwelling with us today. And my final thought for today is this. As we close today, I want you to remember something. And it's vital. It's important. Pain is not proof that your life is broken. Pain is simply proof that something in you is able to be built. But let's be mindful of what we are building. Let's be mindful of that. You don't need to build walls. You probably have enough of those. You don't need to build excuses. To be still, you don't need to be reasons not to, you don't need to build reasons to not move forward. All right. You don't need to build a proactive and insulating barrier between you and the world. You don't need to build that. You simply need to build your purpose. That's it. Purpose is not always found in the comfortable places. We talked about that earlier. Purpose is often uncovered in the places where life is testing you, where life is stretching you, and where life has forced you to meet yourself in the dark. All right. Your pain may have been the chapter that you never wanted to read, and that you never wanted to write, or that you never wanted to endure. However, your purpose can be the chapter that makes the book of your life a #1 bestseller. I must say that again. Your pain may have been the chapter that you never wanted to read or write or endure, but your purpose can be the chapter that makes the book of your life a #1 bestseller. Sometimes pain is the fire that forges you. Sometimes pain is the weight that strengthens you, and sometimes pain is the experience that endures too long. Sometimes pain is the darkness that consumes you. And many times in these places, it is in these circumstances that your purpose is revealed. Right? Remember, most coveted swords are forged in the fire. Right? Only by bearing weight can we grow stronger. Right? Perseverance is built through endurance. And while the dark may consume you, it is your light that is within you that can light your way out of it. If you're in a season of struggle right now, if you're in a season of despair, if you're in a season of devastation, of loss, of brokenness, if you are in a season of darkness, do me a favor. I need you to do me a favor. Be still, be silent for just a moment, and I want you to listen. I want you to listen deep within inside of you, and you're listening for direction, you're listening for instructions, and you are listening for wisdom. And if you listen long enough, you're gonna hear your call. If you listen long enough, you are going to hear your call. You will hear a call out of your brokenness. You will hear a call to let go of loss. You will hear a call to leave devastation. And you will hear a call leading you away from darkness. The destination is your purpose. Remember to pack light though. There are no bags allowed on this journey. Yes, indeed. Kings, thank you for joining me as always on the Master Your Mindset show, the 7 dimensions of mindset. And before we get on up out of here, we're going to need you to do one thing. We're going to need you to check your vibe. Because when your mind is bright, then you can always vibe right. Yes, indeed. People, if this podcast has shifted your mindset or moved you to change your vibe, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with somebody that you love, somebody that you care about, or someone that you believe can vibe in a new way. Leave me a review, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at KingYesIndeed. Also, if you are interested in vibe coaching consultation, please email me at kingyesindeed@gmail.com. Let's find more personally tailored approach to your vibe. And yeah, I give one-on-one coaching. I can do group coaching through mind or vibe or mindset coaching classes. Until next time, people, check your vibe. Mind bright, vibe right. Yes, indeed.